Sup, it's Hallie, and welcome back to Club Meetings Season 3. When we last left off, we were on the end of the end game, and the game is now about onions. Sayori is sitting at a desk in the corner of the room, looking down at her pile of onions. I walk over to her. Hey, Sayori. I wave an onion in front of her face.
Hello.
You're onioning out again.
Sorry. Don't mind me and my onions. You can call onion and open everyone else.
Huh. Are your onions alright?
Of course. Why wouldn't they be?
It just feels like you're a little off because of your onions. Sorry for assuming things.
Jeez, you worry too much about my onions. They're fine, see?
Sayori tears an onion in half with her bare hands and swallows one half whole without chewing, like a snake.
So don't be distracted from having onions with everyone.
Well, alright. If you say so. Onion. I worriedly glance at Sayori's onions before turning back toward everyone else. But the conversation has already dispersed, with everyone back cooking or eating their own onions. Maybe I should ask Monica if she's noticed anything about Sayori's onions recently. Since they've been preparing for the festival, they must be spending a lot of time together on onion agriculture. I timidly approach Monica, who is shuffling through some onions at her desk.
Hallie, what's up?
Hey, this might sound a little strange, but have you noticed anything up with Sayori or her onions recently?
Anything up with their onions? In what way do you mean?
Maybe I'm reading into it a little too much, but she seems a bit unenthused by onions today.
Oh, you think so?
Ah, she actually wasn't feeling sufficiently packed with onions and went home early.
Is that so? I hope she gets her onion quota. Seriously? Of all times to not go home with her, you picked the time she hasn't had enough onions. So much for you two being all onionated.
Ah, no. First of all, stop misunderstanding my co-onionship with Sayori. And second, she's kind of been avoiding me today, so I didn't want to force it.
Oh, onion.
That shallotic expression coming from Yuri of all people?
Calm down, guys. I talked to her earlier and everything is fine. Perfectly oniony.
What did she say?
Anyway, we need to figure out the rest of the onion preparations, so let's decide what everyone will be doing this weekend. I already know what I'm doing. That's right. Natsuki will be cooking onions. But we might need a lot of them in different varieties. Can you handle all that by yourself, Natsuki? Challenge accepted. And as for myself, I'm going to be growing onions. Siri will be helping me apply them. And as for Yuri, you can, Guys, can you help me come up with something for Yuri? I'm useless. I can only eat onions. No, that's not it at all. You're the most talented person here, you know. Now Natsuki's doubting too.
Geez, even I can tell now. I guess I never gave Sayori enough credit, but I can tell things are even harder on you when she's not around to keep the focus on onions.
That may be the case. But if I can't also get people to stand blinking at onions all day on my own, then I won't grow as an onion. I mean, as a person. So, Yuri, you have a really fully ominous sink at home, right? So you should wash all the onions. Onions? About that, I love onions.
Yuri's expression suddenly changes as she stares at her desk in deep focus and starts nodding to herself, thinking blissfully of onions. Your mind is already racing, I see.
That's great. You'll be a wonderful help, Yuri. But anyway, that just leaves you, Onion Hallie.
The one who is truly useless.
Don't say that. In fact, both Natsuki and Yuri have some pretty heavy onions to handle. It would probably go a long way to get one of them in hand. You can always help me out as well. I would be really appreciative of that.
Is Monica suggesting I spend the weekend with one of my onion members? How on earth are they going to respond to a suggestion like that?
I suppose I wouldn't mind a bit of help. Well, even if you don't know how to cook onions, there's always some dirty work I can give you.
I mean, he did say he eats them raw.
It's not like Monica's going to give me a choice, and you shouldn't be sitting on your onions anyway.
Natsuki tries to mumble a bunch of unrelated excuses like that.
If I recall, Natsuki, you mentioned that you would like to handle the onion cooking on your own. Hallie may not like to be around you if you only make him out to be a nuisance. So therefore, he may be more suited to assisting with the onion washing. Hold on, I never said that! How hard could it be to wash a few onions anyway? Sounds more like you're just making excuses for Hallie to...
What are you saying? We must be very meticulous with our onions. Washing onions is meticulous work.
And cooking onions isn't. Just what do you Onions. Let's settle down for an onion or two. In the end, I think it's up to Hallie to decide how he'd like to make this somehow about onions. Besides, he hasn't really got the chance to spend any time with me yet, you know. So I'm sure he's interested in... You literally just said...
But I'm surprised as well.
Sorry. I was just saying, though. Onions is what I was saying. Jeez, can we just settle this already? I'm hungry for onions. Yeah. Hallie, you're okay with onions, right? In the end, it's up to you.
Of course, but my name isn't Hallie.
Very well.
In that case...
Everyone looks straight at me. But of course I'm going to go with... But what if it's an actual choice? I don't remember the placement of their names in the original. Sayori.
Great choice, Hallie. Instead of helping one of us with onions, you should help the Great Onion Overlords directly. They will be so pleased with your service.
Yes, and at the culmination, they will be especially pleased when you crush them to a fine pulp with your teeth and accept them within yourself.
Then you will be onion complete, it is agreed. Wise choice, Hallie.
And so, instead of hanging out with a human woman like a weirdo, I spent the day with onions. I built a small shrine to them in a corner of my house. I lit a circle of candles around an onion and then began a loud onion prayer as part of my ritual. If I had to summarize the prayer, I'd say... Actually, why would I summarize it? Here is my onion prayer. Onions, grant us thy onion, that we may be filled with onion, and that onion may become us, so that we, in turn, may return to the onions, and become food for our onions, and return the onion that was within us, and all else that we are to the onion. So onion it be. You can feel free to use this onion prayer at home if you want. It's great for bringing onion prosperity. And you know, just onions in general. I really hope Sayori is alright, though. It wasn't like her to tear an onion in half and then eat only one of the halves. Usually she'd eat both, fairly, like an animal. I guess we'll see. It's already Onion Day. I haven't heard a thing from Sayori since she left the club early the other day. It's not like we text each other all the time or anything except about onions. But I've been worried about her in the back of my mind. Between what Sayori said and what Monica said about her not eating enough onions, is it really okay for me to focus on my own onions instead of the onion deficiency of another? I decide to visit Sayori before performing my disturbing and kind of gross onion ritual. Rather than asking, I simply tell her onion time, much like we've done in the past. Once I reach Sayori's house, I throw 3 to 5 onions at the door before entering it myself. Again, we used to play with onions so often that we've made it a habit of simply using onions to announce our presence. The house smells of onions, but it is quiet. Sayori isn't anywhere on the first floor, so I assume she's up in her room gobbing on yawns. It's already strange of her not to run down, greet me, and force-feed me a whole leek stalk. I head up to her onion room where I finally find her. Sayori?
Hi, Hallie.
I sit down on the giant onion that serves her as a guest chair. It's hard not to just eat it. Sayori forces a smile, but it's easy to tell that she's different. She's not holding any onions, and her onion scent is faint. There's a minute of silence between us.
You haven't come over like this in a long time, have you?
I guess you're right. It has been a long time. Not many of your onions have really changed, have they? Sayori's onion room is as cluttered with onions as it's always been. I also recognize the same stuffed animals and onion decorations that she's had for years now.
If you came over more often, there will be fewer onions.
That's because I end up eating all your onions for you.
How come you suddenly wanted to come over today? Aren't you supposed to be directly serving the Great Onion Overlords?
Yeah, but... Wait, how did you know that? Sayori had already left by the time we decided that last meeting.
Well, I told you that she can't play the trouble of 16 pounds of Adelia onions. It's only natural for her to keep me informed about the onion preparations, right?
Ah, that's true. But what about you? Aren't you going to be helping Monica today with onion cultivation?
Of course. But I'm just going to water the onions and I can do that whenever. We didn't plan to meet up or anything.
Ah, so it's just me and the onions then.
Yep.
There's more silence between us. When I strain my ears, I almost think I can hear the onions speaking to me.
Onion.
But no, it's just the onion wind. Sayori stares in a random direction. Everything about her behavior is really uncharacteristic. It's barely related to onions at all. I finally get to the onion. I just wanted to see how you were doing. After you left on Friday, when something's wrong, you can't hide it from me. I know you too well. So, Sayori smiles, picking up an onion and gently shaking it.
That's not good, Holly.
Eh?
Why can't onions be like they've always been? It's all my fault. If I didn't get so weak and accidentally turn my mind away from onions, if I didn't make that stupid mistake, then you wouldn't have been worried about my onions at all. You wouldn't have come here. You wouldn't have even been thinking about me right now, just about onions. But that's my punishment, isn't it? I'm getting punished for thinking about any topic other than onions for the barest microsecond. I think that's why the onion gods decided to have you come over today. They just want to torture me.
Sayori! I pick up an onion and press it directly onto Sayori's forehead. What in the name of onions are you saying? Are you listening to yourself right now? I know something happened to your onions. There's no other explanation for you to be like this. So tell me already. Until I know, I won't be able to stop thinking about it. Or about onions, but that is totally unrelated since I think about onions all the time anyway.
Ah, onion.
Sayori gives me an empty onion skin.
You really put me on an onion, Hallie. But you're wrong. Nothing happened to my onions. I've always been like this. You're just seeing it for the first time.
Seeing what? What are you talking about, Sayori?
You're really just going to make me say it, aren't you, Hallie? I guess I have no choice this time. The thing is, I don't even like onions. I've never liked them my whole life. Did you know that? Why do you think I like to school every day? Because most days I can't stand the idea of getting up and eating onions for breakfast again. Onions for lunch, onions for dinner, and I have to go to the actual onion club. What reason is there to do anything when I fully know how I will have to make my whole life about onions over and over again? Why go to school and learn about onions? Why eat onions? Why make friends who only love onions? Why make other people put their onions to waste by having them spend them on me? That's what it feels like. And that's why I just want to make everyone happy. Let them enjoy their onions. Without anyone worrying about me.
I'm in shock. I can't even figure out how to respond. How is it possible that Sayori kept this from me the entire time that I've known her? Did she really want so badly for me to just ignore her dislike of onions? Why, Sayori? Why is it that you've never told me about not liking onions? It almost feels like I've been betrayed as your close friend who craves onions. Because if I knew, I would have done everything I could to rehabilitate you to the onion ways. I would have blended onions and fed them to you intravenously. Or made you sleep surrounded by sliced raw onions to acclimatize you. Anything. Even if there's only so much that I could do. I would have tried a little bit harder to make you love onions like the rest of us do. That's why I am your friend. All you had to do was tell me. I'm not sure exposure is the issue.
You don't understand at all, Hallie. Why do you think I didn't tell you I hate onions? It's because I'm only kidding.
Oh, thank onions.
I love onions, silly. You know that.
Nah, forgot it count was you.
I just hadn't eaten enough onions yesterday. It put me in an onion funk, you know.
Yeah, I know. The dreaded onion funk. It's enough to drive you insane. That's why it's important to eat an average of 1 onion every 19 seconds.
Anyway, why don't we all work together on onions today?
Sounds like an onion, Sayori.
Yes. Everything sounds like onions. Everything is onions.
So true.